Dear Diary, I'm glad you are here. I shaved and I put some stuff up on the wall. Dear Diary, I'm here to talk to you today about beer and war and the rest of 2020. Baby, it's gonna get crazy. Dear Diary, I'm gonna do the best I can. It's in my blood. Can you read it backwards? You can, you get bonus points. It says booty squared. Dear Diary, tried to catch her eye. Work hard and say it's easy. Do it just to please me. Tomorrow it is different. Up a 10. I'm leaving. Yeah, so dear Diary, the next 10 days I think are gonna be wild. So the second half of 2020 is like all about war. And there are like 60 to 100 groups. And so it's gonna be this giant battle for like top dog in the power vacuum that spins. And I smell something pretty. We trained in ABA. Anywho. So dear Diary, I'm trying to figure out how to properly warn and prepare people for what is coming, not only between now and the eclipse, but then the 6 months after that. This is where I had an idea back in the day, dear Diary, of this, where Daredevil, Matthew Murdock, Wolverine, and then Spider-Man all go on like a month-long bender where the three of them just like party and try and get away from saving the world. But of course, it's supposed to be a comedy with Wolverine, Daredevil, and Spider-Man. And it's supposed to be a comedy. Of course, there's action in it. So here's like a scene from that where Mike Murdock is standing on top of his brownstone. Of course, since he's Daredevil, he jumps all the way down. That is Wolverine. That is Peter Parker. So that's Logan and Peter Parker. And then Daredevil jumps all the way down behind them. Boop. And you know, it's his blue eye. He's blind, but in his mind, he's not blind because he's Mike Murdock. It's a whole different thing. You got another Daredevil backstory. Ooh, but somehow at the top it just says Celestial Diamonds. And so, you know, I've tried to talk to all y'all about me as the T, and I've spent a large portion of the last 20 years, if not 5 to 10 years before that, talking about the grand transition. And you have multiple power groups on a ton of different levels. Like you have local groups, you have state groups, you have national groups, you have corporate groups, you have fraternal groups, you have, I mean, there's so many groups, man. And I get that, like, the major part of the public likes to think it's some controlled hierarchy where everything is always locked down and there are no choices or big actions that can be made, but I would disagree. It's kind of like I've been talking about since 2015. From 2015 all the way through 2019, we got to pick which timeline we wanted to go into. So we collectively chose the 2020 timeline together over the last 5 and 10 years, but definitely since 2012. It was like in 2012, it was like, all right, what do you want your future to be 8 years from now? And so because it is a collective group, we all chose this future together. And we had free will. And so we alter the future by being here in everything we do. And so I do my best as one man and one manifester and one energetic being. And so now, like, definitely since 2015, maybe 2011, all the secret societies and all the groups trying to work it out, you know, I have been doing my best. And so when we used the last 5 years to choose the timeline we got the 2020 1565 Nostradamus timeline. And it ain't all shits and giggles. Unicorns and cupcakes, man. So cheers, my diary. And Asteroid Fight Club. Forget what Dave Chappelle said, but he said something like, if you survive this, you are my hero. And I felt it. But if you survive this with a sense of humor, so dear diary, we are on like a 10-day event calendar up until the big solar eclipse. Remember, the one at Christmas, that's been a year warning everybody about that when the big solar Christmas eclipse came in of 2019, December, they're like, it was a big deal, man, and the whole world was about to change. Well, this is kind of that. It's the middle one, the nadir of the 3 eclipses of the summer. And this one is all Betelgeuse and Angela Doodle. I don't know, I can't pronounce the name of the star of righteous anger. And then you have Eris, Pluto, and Mars up in our Earth faces every single day in our wavelengths, our radio waves, our television waves, our social media waves. Like every Earth wave we have has been inundated with Plutonian energy, has been inundated with Eris energy, has been inundated with Martian energy. And so this is like next level, coming up to the Pluto-Jupiter conjunction in July. And then you have our 3rd eclipse on the 4th of July. Dear diary, and Asteroid Fight Club, and all cool people out there, cheers to you. And give me the strength when people yell dumb bumper stickers at me. Because my information, I feel, has been really good, man. And that this is a big situation with 7 billion people, 195 countries, and like 100,000 corporations and science institutes.
One of my favorite bands, The Strokes.
Is this it? I don't even like it. Hey, but special shout out from me to The Strokes, Astro Lotta, the Leo King, and Dave Chappelle. Is this it? Is this it? So yeah. And so it's like a screenplay where the overriding theme for the next 6 months is going to be war. And so this one's graphic. So it's like, you know, is it going to be a war versus the Cthulhu darkness and the cosmic Christ conscious? Cosmic Christ spirit? Is it just going to be Republicans versus Democrats? Is it going to be Russia versus America? Is it going to be India versus Pakistan? Is it going to be Pepsi versus Coke? Is it going to be J.K. Rowling versus the T in LGBT? Is it going to be man versus woman? I don't know, dude, but like, I try to explain that a lot of, like, I try to put it in my videos all the time where, like, the weapons capability amongst not only governments, sub companies, sub corporations, groups, the technology boom for the last 10 years has been pretty major. And so the weapons capability is expanding faster than the normal ways can regulate them. So you've got like giant civilization enders or just collapsers in like over 100 different groups' hands. And so at some level you've got to get 100 different groups to agree not to like nuke places, except you have weapons that are 1,000 times more powerful than nuclear weapons ever were in the 40s. And Dear Diary, so like when you're thinking on a level of like where do we want to be as human beings 10 years from now? As me, the T, having gone through 2010 to 2015 to now 2020, where do we want to be in 2030? And I've heard a lot about some agenda 2030, but that agenda sounds sucky. It does not sound like a major party, and I am here to have a good time. And so I will bring good times back to earth. Rock and roll shall return. And whatever heaven we're going to, I would love to go to one where there is Bob Marley, Little Richard, Prince, Jimi Hendrix, and Tom Petty. Baseball, American Pie, and rock and roll. Well, man, I gave up sports 100% when I became Thor News. But I will die for apple pie and rock and roll. And freedom. And improving things. But I am a Sagittarius Capricorn. So with Jupiter and Saturn aligning in the sky, I feel like I've got like 71 power-ups. So I feel like I will survive between now to 2025. And so it's very important to me to make sure that the world improves and good times come back. Because I'm going to be here for at least 7 to 10 more years. And so it is very important to improve the quality of life, not just for myself, but for all people. Because if you are not free, I am not free. That was like a tagline from American Bicycle Club. One of the movies that I wrote Ace River, Satori Ray Jones, Blue Eyed White Tiger, and American Bicycle Club from like 2000 to 2012. 3 total screenplays. And so in American Bicycle Club, when they're trying to like free everybody, and they have to get all 52 secret societies to get along without starting major fucking wars, being cool is always part of that. Okay, so in this one, here's our hero fighting the giant beast that cannot be killed. This beast is made of like ancient petroleum. It cannot be penetrated with human weapons. I want to spoil it for you, but the story destroys the dude with light. And so yeah, dear diary, I gotta figure out a way to keep it all on track, to help inspire and motivate the team that is all about civilization stabilization. And I got like 15% of Americans drooling at the prospect of a fucking civil war. As Planetary Defense Commander, do you know how insulting that is? Like you want to go town to town, start a war against like cashiers and nurses and bus drivers because your political views are different and both sides have been absolutely misrepresented and lied to since whatever fucked up version of democracy we ever had was put in place. Capitalism's dead. Socialism's dead. Communism's dead. Whatever's coming in the future is new. Now they gotta like fire buzzwords at people with social networking cannons, then people get super triggered and their head spins around like a freaking flux capacitor, whatever spinner? Fidget spinner. Cheers. And oh, by the way, dear diary, the important shit that it seems nobody else really fucking seems to notice. Lebanon's currency completely fucking collapsed overnight. The petrodollar is the reserve currency of the world. The petrodollar is made up of every currency in the world. So when you have the sub-currencies starting to fail, that is a bad fucking sign. Talking to me about fucking politics. We have a global currency we know that is going to fucking explode at some point. We have known that since 1971 they pegged the dollar. And we've known it's been redlining since 2018. People are like, oh, who can care about that? We got an election. Trump's gonna save us all. He's gonna brag about his ratings until everything is fixed. And I heard word he's gonna build a fucking bridge in New Jersey so our future infrastructure problems are solved. I'm gonna get another beer. Are you still there? Dear Diary, are you still there? That is why I appreciate the people who can give me good information that I can use. I appreciate the people who understand what we're dealing with and the stakes on the line. Technically, I appreciate everybody. But Jesus Christ, dear Diary, what do I do to tell people on the right and the left that over the next 6 months, we should all be playing defense against this goddamn virus? But having an outbreaking virus plague during a war season really adds new variable levels to it. Dear Diary, as I have been saying with honesty, I believe that both sides of the American political system were working together to make sure that Trump got reelected in 2020. And the plague hit, much like it has many times throughout history, and especially at some solar minimums. And so it caught everybody off guard. So all these fucking people who are always telling me about the future, what's going to happen, or they know this, they know that, none of them, outside of the Leo King, knew that this thing was fucking coming in the start of January. I took his information and spread it the best I could over a fucking year. And then it hit. Then I've been fucking telling everybody every step of the way. And I still got a wall of dunderheads who just are impressed that they're holding a fucking megaphone. Dear Diary, thank you for letting me get this off my chest. I hope I don't say anything that gets me in trouble. So I don't want to get too cocky about feeling protected by the universe. But dear Diary, like I said, so for the rest of the month, I gotta get everybody prepared for, like, what is it, Mars is going into Aries in like a retrograde fashion and will spend, usually it spends like 2 months there. Mars will be in Aries, so it's like war squared for 6 months. So we got 6 fucking eclipses this year. And then we got Aries and Mars making super love for 6 straight months, with Aries sticking her dick in our face every fucking step of the way. And then Pluto's just making everything creepier and giving us bad communication skills. But I still love Mars, I still love Pluto, I still love Eris. But if I had to give an award to something other than the sun and the moon, it'd probably go to Mercury. Good job, Mercury. Dance with me, Diary. Oh, beer is good. And I would like to feed my people being earthlings and the animals as well. And so the food issues that we are going to have are there in our face, bro. And yes, as the plague continues to break out with the worst fucking response possible, asterisk, we're going to have meat problems. Because you got to have teams working to produce with the cattle and the meat and get it out in timely fashion. The American way that we had down was brilliant. But if you mess something up a little, it totally goes off and the car falls apart. So the car's falling apart. And so I got a whole generation of men I can't even convince to wear a fucking mask. And at some point, I may have to be like, hey guys, for like 3 months, we all gotta eat more peanuts and fucking protein because we're gonna have to like not eat as many animals for the next 3 to 6 months because the plague is fucking nasty and it's gonna continue to fuck shit up. So I can't even get people to wear a fucking mask. So who wants to be on the front of that says, hey, we might have to go without bacon for a couple months? I see how paranoid y'all get over your guns. It's got to be 100 times worse if anyone ever tries to take away bacon. And no one's trying to take your bacon away. No one's trying to take your beef away. What I'm saying is that to keep all the meat processing plants open and running as you have a fucking plague breaking out that is real. You're like, hey, it only kills like 0.7% of people. Yeah, well, if you employ 10,000 people, and so you're going to have X amount get sick, and then you're going to have X amount die in the next year. That is going to be over your average normal situation. It's like everyone's just pulling their pud, like, woo! Woo! Listen to me! I can put words together! I know everything! Watch me decode the book of Revelations! Woo! I get to vote! Dear Diary, I haven't lost faith though. I haven't lost hope. As a matter of fact, I can almost see those weird rays of light. Where it seems like the very rich classes have spent the last 5 months getting prepared for the next 2 years and 10 years. Way ahead of anyone under 100 million. Whereas YouTube is fucking littered with horrible, dumbass, one-part, stupid theories. They're going nowhere. The truth is that, like, they don't want it to fail. And that there may be demonic forces that are working, but human beings still have a lot of fucking power. And especially those who believe in God, the power of love, the universe, the animals, Jesus Christ, I would guess even Buddha and Allah. The ones who have love and appreciation and gratitude in their hearts. The universe gives back what they put out. Good people get better. It's like, so if I'm trying to introduce, oh, hey guys, we're dealing with 9 other fucking planets here. And everything that's going on there are 9 other planets behind the scenes. It's like, I can't even cross that bridge because most people can't get over the 3, like, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Most people's brains can't even, like, get over that fucking hump. And then you get into, like, a whole, like, it's a big solar system, man. So do your best for grandmas and the space whales. And the birds on Earth. Plus the dogs and the cats. One moment, please, while I spritz. And I gotta figure out a way, Diary, to get some light that brings out the color of my eyes, because they are beautiful. And there ain't nothing wrong with being beautiful. If there's one thing I gotta admit, though all of those of us in the truth community, or the truther community, not a single one has really worried about presenting themselves as really handsome, cute, and attractive as like everybody else on YouTube does all the time. Like Philip DeFranco is always making sure he's lit well. Everyone, all the girl gamer Twitch channels are always making sure they're lit really well. Everybody else is worried about making sure they look good when they step in front of the camera. The truth community that has never been anywhere near the top of our list of priorities. You know what I'm saying? So, I watched the 27-minute Dave Chappelle, because I asked on June 4th, Dave Chappelle and Eddie Murphy and the guys that got together at Christmas on SNL, I asked for their input on the situation. And on June 6th, Dave came out in Ohio to a social distance crowd in a field and gave a 27-minute dissertation breakdown that was like a history lesson that everyone needs to understand. And whether the group you identify with most is your skin color or like you being a first responder peace officer. That on some inherent level, everybody seems to take care of those who they think are family. And if I've had one major problem, I've had a few with Donald J. Trump, is that it is not even about Trump and the Republicans. It is just about him. So like if Puerto Rico gets fucking totally decimated, as long as he's okay, it's great. Oklahoma, as long as he's okay. California, as long as Trump's okay. Like it's all just about one fucking guy. And that is why at times I talk about my love affair with Texas. Because Texas is always bigger than one guy. My stepdad, I call him Texan. My dad, born in Wisconsin, but spent a whole lot of time in Texas. A lot of great people, men and women I have known, of all colors and races, sexes and sexualities. Texas has had some amazing people who were either born here or got here and adopted the Texas spirit. And so, if you understand the history of Earth as we know it, Texas used to be independent. Texas is a nation unto itself. But we are part of the United States of America. But like a marriage, if one party thinks it is not getting treated fairly, then it can go independent. And so I'm just saying, in this giant picture, I think people underestimate Texas's ability to stay strong and stay independent and stay cool and beam with light, Christmas light. Like we have a Christmas 4th of July spirit. We like good good cookouts. We like live music. But they're like out of the 100 groups that have the power to destroy a city or disrupt civilization. There are definitely like 10 or 12 groups who've been like, we can drop you into the ocean, Texas. Which always gives it that like 2020 Game of Thrones, Avengers, Star Wars feel, you know, where like there are literally people and groups who are jealous of Texas itself. One moment, please. So, if you get a chance out there in the universe to reflect back on definitely the last 20 years, you'll remember that I'm the guy who's been reminding us that we are one Earth family and that we can get to the highest heights if we work together as one team. I don't give a shit what all the fucking haters and nihilists say. People who say we can't do it or we can't improve things never really enter into my and I had a relationship with God and Jesus Christ since I was a wee tiny kid, where it's just natural. And that so part of my faith has called me to do this for the last 7.5 years. And then the other day, another gentleman on YouTube was making fun of my view numbers. So I looked at it, and in the last 28 days, I've had 180,000 views. And so if I had a church, and in the last month, 180,000 people showed up to listen to a sermon for even 3 minutes, that is a large responsibility. And yes, I believe Earth is a better place with me on it. I like Earth's good luck charm. One of them. All right, so even think about that. So like 180,000 views. I don't even know how many comments that is. But like every month, I get at least over 100 people saying really horrible shit to me. Call me names, call me pathetic, saying I'm leading people off the path or just whatever. Every month for like 7.6 years. I get like 100 letters of like, you suck, you horrible, you should die. Like people, like you don't. So like people are firing arrows at me 100 times a month. I'm still here though. Although, thank you, Lex. Whoa. Hey, man. So yeah, it would definitely be great if Lex Luthor converted to good guys, like the White Queen in the X-Men mythology. Like, I partially converted Taylor to the good guys, and that's a major fucking accomplishment. We will take all good people on the good people team. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man. So yeah, for like 25 years, it's been my job to work it out. And the fact that we have made it into June 13th is amazing. And I'm not taking all the credit, but I'm definitely taking it. I've done my part, man. Done my part to be a good Christian and a good man. This is also from the scene where I had that Wolverine Daredevil, and then back there in the back, Spider-Man. They're in a pool hall. They're in a big pool hall brawl. That's Wolverine. That's Daredevil. But if you look in the back, there's Spider-Man. He's not actually fighting anybody. Thank you, Hedy Metal. Hedy Lamar. So look, so there's Wolverine. That's the joke of it. Like, they're in civilian clothes, so people don't know they're Peter Parker, Wolverine, and Daredevil. So like all these guys in the bar try and pick a fight with these three. And so these three are drunk and just having fun. And Wolverine got drunk because Doctor Strange gave them magic tequila. And so for like the first time ever in this movie, Wolverine is drunk for the first time in his life. Because, of his healing skills. And so that's what part of the reason that the movie's so funny, because Wolverine's just shit-faced the whole time. Anyway, but so through this whole battle, it's just Daredevil and Wolverine kicking everybody's ass in a really funny, hilarious Jackie Chan kind of way, while Peter Parker is see him, he's like, that's a pull stick. He's over here like kind of he's just dancing. He doesn't fight anybody the whole time. He's just doing this drunk dance. Because the underlying theme is that, like, Peter Parker has broken up with Mary Jane. And they've broken up, so he's heartbroken. Wolverine's just gotten out of an atom smasher that he's been in for 6 months. And Daredevil's been Daredevil for his whole life. So he hasn't had a whole lot of laughs. It's a really fucking funny scene. Not even jail. So like when I drew the demons that's from Satorian Grace. Like that's kind of the spirit that we're fighting with. It's like all vampire teeth. Sucking energy. That's a cool panel right there. There's Satori, and there's Grace. They're the demons they're fighting. There's Satori and Grace. Probably drew and wrote this one in 2003. And so, like, I've got notebooks filled with these. Although I have my favorites I always show. Where from like age 7 until I started my YouTube channel, I would just write movies and then storyboard them out. And so, dear diary, I will do my best to guide myself and everyone else through the next 6 months. But it seems the theme is going to be war, war, Okay, so here's the line here. Here are the bad guys, the demons. Here's our blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white tiger. And then he says, "You think I am scared of your dumb ass?" It's Tori and Grace. It's Tori and Grace. They're a super badass power couple. And honestly, I thought my girl, lady, woman would have shown up by now. But it's 2020 and she's nowhere to be found. There's your politician. He fucking loves being at rallies, bro. He loves being surrounded by 50,000 people screaming his name. He loves it. As a matter of fact, when the plague comes around and he can't do it anymore, he hates it and he can't handle it. He can't handle that the universe is denying him a chance to be surrounded by 40,000 people screaming his name. Drew that in 2003, 2004, my friends. So yeah, like, there's Wolverine. There's Daredevil. But if his claws are out, that means some bad shit is going down. So yeah, it's been like the last 25 years going around to a bunch of people, talking to them, hanging out with them, having beers, discussing the future of all people on the planet. And I got a chance to sit down with a lot of powerful people. And then overall, my YouTube qualifications are pretty legit. And I think what the thing is that people have bet all their chips mentally, emotionally, spiritually on Trump. And so they cannot admit that if we really have had, they can't admit the fact that 115,000 Americans might have died from COVID in 3 months. Like, it just can't, it doesn't fit in with their belief system. That they see him as some Superman. So whatever the information is outside of the being horse blindered on him, they have to reconstruct all the information in their brain. And so that all the people who are telling me that it's a hoax, or it's no worse than the flu, or it's not a problem, that it's because they can't mentally grasp the fact that he could have been so bad that we've now had 115,000 Americans die on his watch because of the choices that he made. Well, I'm pretty sure if he would have come out and been like, the plague is a problem, cool guys wear masks, by protecting and helping others, you help yourself. He would have marched out on stage March 1 after seeing all the same footage I saw in China, wearing a fucking mask, asking everybody to wear a mask. We would have probably had maybe 10 to 13,000 deaths. He did not do that. And so the people who have trusted the plan for 3.5 years, they have to say that in their world, it is fucking impossible that a plague killed 115,000 people. And they have to say the Spanish flu that happened in 1918, that cannot be factored into the equation. The fucking Black Death of 1333 cannot be factored into the equation. The 1666 plague cannot be factored into the fucking equation, even though they happened at solar minimums. Even though Leo King warned about it for 7 years, that's been a year warning about it. So yeah, at times I get a little fucking, it just bothers me that people trust in Trump more than they do me. I have spoken to people crystal clear exactly how I felt, exactly what is going on. I don't need some double fucking speak, like putting in QAnon code that you have to fucking decipher through 15 fucking Scooby-Doo rings. So people are treating QAnon like he's writing the new book of Revelations, and they're all super decoding it, and every time they decode it, it's like, Trump is great, everything is wonderful, nothing could be improved. This is the America we dreamed of after 3.5 years of him. And whoa, imagine how great it would be after fucking 8 years of this shit. Like I said, for the 1,000 people out there who understand what I'm talking about, 1,000 people, part of the 100 groups who are really making up the next 6 months. And you've got 30 groups in a Mexican standoff where everyone is shooting their giant laser cannons at each other. And I'm like, hey, let's work it out. Just like in the end of Game of Thrones, where I'm like, hey man, at the start of the last season, they should all work it out, get along, forgive each other, and then just spend the next season building a new world. And they're like, no, let us just have war where dragons and people burn most of the shit to the ground. And if I am wrong, the bad guys take me out in 2020. I loved you. And I'm probably gonna be okay. If I get reborn with my inner spirit in heaven or in the next worlds, I'm okay with that. I just hope I get to remember to appreciate all the time I got to spend with friends and family 10 times more than I did then. I really appreciated it, but now that I've been stuck in this fucking foxhole for 1,000 days, I appreciate it 1,000,000 times more. Better things will come our way. You were always there for me. Thank you, Asteroid Fight Club. Asteroid Fight Club is cooler than MAGA. Asteroid Fight Club is cooler than GSM. And I'm not trying to start any gang wars before the 6-month war period. I'm just saying, over here as the guy who's been trying to resurrect rock and roll and comedy and have Earth be a good time again. Asteroid Fight Club is cool. Thank you, Diary, for listening. Dude, it's kind of like going to graduate school. It's like plague graduate school. We're going to deal with this fucking plague for 2 more years. Thank you, Kelsey. And God bless you. As I was saying, Look at the next 2 years like graduate school or when you become an orderly, where like it's plague university. And so if we do all the homework and have a good plan for when the 2 years is over, we can do like amazing things after that. And it's so weird. Over the last decade, a joke I have had personally where it's like Russia's fighting with the United States. I'm like, why are we fighting? China's fighting with Taiwan. Why are they fighting? Israel is fighting with Palestine. Why are they fighting? Fucking white people are fighting with black people. Why are they fighting? It's always been like, because it's been a theme that has run throughout humanity since the dawn of us learning how to throw the bone into space, like 2001, of like establishing dominance and control through violence, whether it be passive or overt. And for the last 40 years, it seemed pretty fucking silly. Like, why are we fighting? Like, how do we make it into the 80s and we, like, humanity is still at war with each other? And so, dear diary, knowing that the last 5 years I guess it's been we can't let the bad spirits harvest us, and we can't be so arrogant and dumbasses that we destroy a good thing because we couldn't figure out how to work together to improve everything. Communism's dead. Capitalism is dead. Socialism is dead. Whatever the fuck we've been in from 1999 till now is the new shit. Digital changed everything, bro. Before digital, it was all analog. And so now the digital world has been introduced and has convinced us that there's no digital world within our world. And that digital is as valuable as real life experience, empirical data. I think we're going to make it though. I have this weird overriding confidence. Kelsey. And when I do take a break from the Matrix, I need comedy. Because like all the other negative energy is so negative all the time. To take a break, I have to have comedy to make it feel like a break. And so after I finished Brooklyn 99, which I totally loved and can't wait to see season 8. I super love Brooklyn 99. I've been watching Frasier. And so I have to confess, it has felt weird during the post May 27th period. It's been weird to watch the whitest sitcom ever while Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy, Tracy Morgan, Chris Rock, and Kenan Thompson have torn down all the statues of the Confederate generals. But I don't want people protesting right now. But the streets have the right to do what the streets are going to do. I'm saying avoid the plague. And the same fucking thing to the Republicans and the conservatives. Like, as Planetary Defense Commander, I get that y'all want to have rallies. As Planetary Defense Commander, I get that y'all want to have protests saying that after a 400-year struggle of the black man, they ain't gonna take it no more. But the plague is fucking real. It's kind of like getting, for lack of a better term, the whole getting AIDS. The coronavirus is a combination of like AIDS and the flu. So, as a 48-year-old man, from what I understand is no, you do not want to get the HIV flu. And then I got snake oil salesman selling me and other people saying the HIV flu is not real. The Y2K 2020 virus, it's a hoax. And these are the same motherfuckers who've been telling me for 10 years that like Agenda 30 or what the fuck ever, the Illuminati, the Masons, the like Russian Orthodox, like some group is out there looking, the George Guidestones, they're looking to depopulate us all. And so we get a virus that shows up and starts killing people, 115,000 Americans in 3 months. And then they're like, it's a fake mass depopulation. This depopulation that every country's telling you about, it's a giant trick, man. Somehow, they got all the politicians, all the doctors, all the nurses, all the mortuary people to lie. Not just in our country, but in every country in the fucking world. You need to go and spend an hour looking at how Brazil has handled the virus. You look at how Israel, Brazil, Turkey, and Russia have handled the virus. Do an hour's worth of fucking research with an open mind, looking at these 4 countries and their response over the last 5 months on how they've handled it. And you will come back with an Occam's razor. I shaved today, by the way. I mentioned at some point it would be great if we could save the world. And then so I could find some type of lighting that pops from my eyes that change color. They're like green and blue usually. Sometimes silver gets in there. Reds or like colors will just show up in my eyes like rainbow colors. And diary, I know that makes me sound crazy. But it's part of the reason that I'm so obsessed with like beautiful women. When their eyes look at me and I can make them laugh and smile, somehow it causes color to grow from my eyes like a fucking mood ring. It's one of the coolest things ever. And I used to get that anywhere from 3 times a day to like once a week. And it just stopped. For like, 2.5 years. Woo! So yeah, my stance is the same stance as a decade ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. We should work it out. World peace sounds great. and as an architectural mind, where my mind, my imagination can build like, for example, here's a car in the air. Technically, it's like 8,000 feet. Someone has thrown it into the air, so there's a big fist fight happening on top of the car or under the car with ninjas and Satori on the car. But I'm saying my mind, like, I can just picture, whether it be cities, car, like, I can just picture things. And so, if you could build the infrastructure of the future for the next 100 to 1,000 years at cost, at true cost, meaning you took the Earth's materials and the solar system's materials and that are abundant, and then at the cost of pretty much moving the materials around, you sculpt and construct a living system for everyone and the animals to last 100 or 1,000 years. Like, you could probably do that shit for, I don't know, 3.7 trillion. If that. So I'm in some land where, I don't know, 30, 40 years, I've seen these cities of the future. I've seen people working together, people giving up war. And so it's like Sunday every day. Except you still gotta weed on Sunday. You still gotta mow the lawn once a month. You gotta help bake dinner and clean up every once in a while. What beer is this? Dear Diary. I'm gonna get a beer. I'll be right back. So, I mean, you don't compare yourself. They say don't compare yourself to other men or other people or other women. But like the people who have even attempted to draw and understand the human head of like levels of intelligence that like how much of the information that you're getting did those sources spend in their lifetime searching for the truth? Faithful and true. The river of the water of life. It's like that starting page. Once you can harness and control nuclear fusion and master magnetics, the rest is easy. It's just like frosting a cake. That's page 2. Page 3. Genesis 3:24. So he drove man out, and at the east of the Garden of Eden, he stationed the cherubim and the flaming sword, which turned every direction to guard the way to the tree of life. Yeah, hey. And so here's kind of the council that we're dealing with, which has ruled for 400 years, right? Notice they're all reds, oranges, and pukey yellow. And this dude is like 350 years old. And like the demon we'd seen either before, no one has been able to knock him off his pedestal. Well, yes, this is page 5. The weapons industry, the robotics industry is probably doing super cool shit that would blow our minds if we knew it was happening. These are all my notes, by the way. So, like, if you're trying to quantify intelligence, creativity, and the source that you're getting your information from. There's another scene from Satori Ray Jones' Blue Eyed White Tiger. Here's Satori running out of the Vegas hallway with Nick, because Satori's much faster than Nick. Satori can move at light speed. And then there's our demon face again on top of a missile, and the missile hits Las Vegas. It was page 6. Hey, draw like the wind. Write that shit down. Why do I have a million pens, but none are ever near me? Ever. Okay. BRB. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So like when I would write these movies, so I wouldn't forget all the details. So there's our hero, Satori Dragon Nick. And Satori's just returned. This guy had disappeared for 7 years. No one anywhere knew who he was. He was the greatest samurai that ever walked the planet. And then he just fucking vanished. I mean, a bunch of shit happened that was really weird, where the bad guys were building up to power. And he wasn't strong enough to fight him, so he just fucking vanished. And this is the day he returns to society. And he goes to his best friend. And so the best friend, I don't know, to understand it correctly, the best friend used to be the sidekick of John Wick for like 10 years. But then something bad happened to John Wick, and then, long story. Anyway, so this is the rocket that hits, but she said, draw like the wind. And I will. Ooh. Don't do that damn pen! Hey, dear diary, can I tell you something weird? Like, the reason I don't draw a lot of like really sexy women, spend a lot of time doing it well, is because when I draw them, like I see them in my mind, it really, really turns me on. And then my drawing gets disrupted. I know, I'm just... And if at any point I act caddish, I'm trying not to. Okay, so that was page 6, where Vegas gets hit with the... Page 7 would be Revelation 19:17. And I saw an angel standing in the sun. And so me, a guy who's been hero obsessed, good guy obsessed, since I can remembering, in Genesis 3:24, at the battle that caused the break of the Pangea, he drove mankind out of the Garden of Eden, and he stationed the cherubim, baby angels, and the flaming sword, which turned every way to guard the way to the tree of life. It's like one of the coolest sentences ever. Like, as a screenwriter and writer, you could make multiple different movies and series about, like, of the things that inspired the pictures of, like... And so there's the sword. And then we have the angel, who's, like, Revelation... I was born on the 19th of December in 71. So, Revelations 19:17, and I saw an angel standing in the sun. And then I wrote under it, which is not from the book of Revelation, draw like the wind. Because draw can have many meanings. Like back in the day when it used to be problematic to go get water, like you might have to spend your whole day just figuring out how to get water you could fucking drink. So anytime you could draw good water from a well, when that water was coming up out of the well, it was drinkable and you were thirsty, you were extremely fucking grateful. And so, we come back to our politician who loves rallies, loves being surrounded by military and people screaming his name. And I wrote and drew these back in 2004 through, I spent like a decade working on the 3 movies. Because I love them. And even if they never get made into anything, I watch them in my mind and they are awesome. And so, but at the very last frame, it shows multiple guns on a wall. Sequence, Merc, getting ready. Mercs, meaning like it is a soldier that fights for money, not mother, love, or country, or rock and roll. A mercenary. And so our bad guy, Top, is surrounded in this giant fucking "You're the Greatest" rally. I mean, this is what, it says Satori Ray Jones, because just now, all over the rest of the world, everyone is finding out that Satori Ray Jones has returned. And being gone 7 years, no one had ever fucking, like, people believed that he was like a legend or dead, and so he just kind of faded out. And so at the, like, rally, it's like, oh, hey, everybody's finding, like, who is Satori Ray Jones? And at that same moment, because, like, it's only, like, 17 hours in that everybody around the world knows he's back, so they're already sending in like 100,000 or 100 mercenaries to go kill him. Anyway, the whole point is that when Satori finds he's like the king of the West and she's king of the East, when they come together, you know, that's what, like, this is our like superpower couple. Like, he is light and she's water, and they protect everything in between. It's a cool story, bro. Rumor had it I was talented. It's page 8. So in like a cosmic Christ, the children of Christ heroic spirit, that is like the bloodline of if the Christ spirit had kids in the year 2020. Like, there's a good... The Joseph Campbell evolution of heroes. And so, these two lovers were super cool, have to fight war and deception and petroleum. And they just, you know, Satori just shows back up on the scene. Like, nobody believed. It's like when people always talk about the Antichrist, and nobody believed like the hero would return to Earth. Diary. The cool thing about Nick, because Nick's best friend Ace River died. And so he's been drinking, smoking, and taking drugs during the 7 years that Satori disappeared. And he's seen a lot of horrible shit. He's on the good guy team. And his whole thing is like, dude, I'm just hanging around until Satori gets back. So like, as the world falls apart, he's just, it's his one job. He's got to stay alive till Satori gets back. When they get back, they're like the best buddy duo ever. Except for they have a third friend, Copper, who shows up. Anywho, I'm gonna get another beer. Did I not get one that time? Dang! Diary? Kelsey! Lady!
Separate myself.
And so when I tell y'all that in 1997, 1996, I spent 1 year in Hollywood, and for like 3 months in Hollywood, I was the #1 screenwriter in town. Where I could just go in and I could pitch a whole, like have a movie idea and then pitch it and sell it. And that's all of Hollywood is about hanging out. Even when you're working, you're pretty much just hanging out. And I love movies. And movies are so powerful. So when I spent a year out there, you know, I had a bunch of movies that that's what I do. If I had a movie story idea, I would spend the whole time building it out. And then when I almost get done but didn't totally finish it, meaning I'd get like 1 draft done, but not like the 5th draft you need to have it done. I only did that with 2 different scripts, but they were received very well. I don't know, it's just what I've done naturally since the age of 13. And so yeah, we were in a giant fucking narrative storyline battle. And the funniest thing is, like, at the bottom, when we all recognized that The Simpsons was prophetic. But it's also probably the greatest sitcom Earth has ever had. And at the end of the day, the strange love between The Simpsons, Bart, Lisa, Maggie, Marge, Homer, and all their friends, like, it keeps all the craziness together. That even as weird and bad as 2020 is, it's a sitcom, bro. And not a lot of people are showing up for the funny parts. So as Sagittarius, yeah, it seems like in this magic day, age, and transition, the people with the best sense of humor are the ones who will probably help keep us all together. And so that's exciting. And that's why, right after Eddie Murphy and friends got together on the SNL stage for the first time in over a decade, I saw that as an amazing sign. We had new sunspots in both cycles at Christmas. That was an amazing sign during that giant solar eclipse. So now we're in the Cancer solar eclipse. And so I guess it's a question of, are Selena Gomez and Ariana Grande ready to be grandmothers? Like the Oracle in the Matrix, where somehow they keep the Matrix or get to the new version while everybody, the family, the home, the neighborhood keeps it together. It's like they say, with great power comes great responsibility. So a lot of people have had a lot of power over the last decade, bro. And so during this middle solar eclipse, will women be strong enough to save us all? Will the grandmother heart that should exist in all women, most of them, be able to somehow keep the boys from setting the whole fucking house on fire? Can the heart of the woman on Earth figure out a way to get all the boys on Earth who are fighting, to get a way to figure out how to feed all the Earthlings? Worry about your house first, and the election second, or I would put it like 100th, dude. Like 145 days from now is so fucking far away. Can I have a moment? Thanks. Thanks for hanging out with me, Diary and Asteroid Fight Club. Symphonies and cities. Where do I want to be in 2030? I want to be in the coolest symphonies, and I want to be in the coolest cities. And by being in a cool symphony, I just mean that, like, I would be happy to sit in the nosebleed section if you can bring me great music. And the only way we are going to build the cities and the symphonies that 2020 deserves is by working together. I don't know, and trying to get everyone to work together to create, build, and make the greatest symphonies, cities, and towns over the next decade while giving up and ending all wars sounds like super Christian shit to me. So I get that there are people out there who at times like, you're not a good Christian. I'm like, well, man, only God could judge, bro. I'm cool with it. If ninjas kick down my fucking door right now with hatchets, chop my hands off, chop my feet off, drag me to the fucking streets. I did it so people like that wouldn't, like, we get rid of the people who would kick in your door and chop off your hands and feet with hatchets. Because those guys are fucking dicks. Whether it be Spanish Inquisition or 2020, those are the bad guys. The people who torture human beings are bad guys. And shout out to everyone who made the movie The Django Unchained. And shout out to Tarantino. I love movies, dude. Man. And as far as a movie maker who, just like videos or songs, who could hand you a new piece of material that grew with the times, that guy has been blowing my mind and worth a $20 spot since the mid-90s. And him and I were in Hollywood at the same time. But when I was in Hollywood in the mid-90s, the old school mafias still ran everything. So I had a lot of talks with mafia dudes when I was in Hollywood. I had a lot of talks with mafia dudes when I was in Nevada. I'm the crazy goofball talking about world peace and everybody working together. And they never saw the digital fucking mafia coming. There's always a bigger fish, man. We're all made of flesh and blood. Cheers. Oh. And there's so much energy in the air. And so we can make pretty much whatever we want to make. And honestly, it seems like right now everybody's really just worried about making money. And since 2013, I've been like, you can't just worry about, like, at some point money will fail you. If you treat paper money like a god, at some point it will just fail you. I'm pretty sure civilizations, possibly Lemurian, possibly Martian, possibly Tiamatian, possibly 100 of the ones that are in the dirt that we will never know about in Earth, like, they have learned this lesson many times. And so it's like, are we going to make it to the Hopi Gate 6? We're going to go back to 5, 4, 3, 2, or 6? Or are we finally going to get to make it to Hopi Gate 7? I hope we make it to the 7 and the 8. And then everything is super great. And when I watched the 27-minute Dave Chappelle special, he chain smoked through the 27-minute special. One of my favorite things about Dave Chappelle was they gave him a Mark Twain Award to start the very year, and I think they shot in 2019. But they gave him a Mark Twain Award, and he went up there and defended with everything stand-up comedy, the ability to stand on a stage and give your opinion. And he chain smoked. He got up there on stage and smoked a cigarette, which you haven't seen anybody do in like 20 fucking years. And he's like, what are they gonna do? Kick you off stage? And then last night, when he had to get up in front of a camera, or he did it on the 4th of June, we had to get up in front of a camera and tell everybody about his perception of all things happening now and that have happened in his lifetime and in lifetimes of before him. That, like, he chain smoked the whole, like I had mentioned on Twitter the other day, that, like, I don't know, there have been like 2 times where I have prayed to God with a cigarette in my hand. Or like, I don't know, since 2015, there have been 2 times, and they're both in 2020. Like, in my mind, he's a 7-star Asteroid Fight Club general. Like, keep it together. Be a stabilizing force. Please be a stabilizing force on Earth for the rest of the year. It's like, we gotta figure out how to make sure every American, and it'd be great if we could do every Earthling, but that, like, you get your airline meal every day. They're like, 2020 is so fucked up, and we have watched, just like IPEC Goat 2, the churches of communism, the churches of capitalism, the churches of socialism collapse before our eyes, or are collapsing. They're like, for the rest of 2020, everybody gets an airline meal a day. And we're going to keep your lights on, your water running, and you can have the place you're at. Like, that should be our Team Earth goal. And if y'all gotta go a week without beef and bacon, we'll survive. Well, let's get on. It's like the great hummus agenda. Jimmy Carter, it was the whole Jimmy Carter thing. It was like his ultimate, the peanut agenda. They did all this shit just so in 2020 they could get us to eat more peanuts and less cows. I might be too buzzed, diary. And so we were at a place where the moon is gonna fucking pass right in front of the sun. And they're like the same size, bro. Right? And so it's gonna create an annual, like it's gonna create a ring of fire in like 9 days, 8 days. We had one of these at Christmas. And so there's this movie, Apocalypto. Apocalypto shows that like those who could see the future through astronomy, astrology, or otherwise had an advantage over those who could not. So even in Apocalypto, where it's still like 2001, monkeys stabbing each other with bones, they would sacrifice and control power by telling everyone, you know, the moons were super magic whatevers. So now fast forward to 2020, and of the entire giant solar system show that is taking place in our sky before us, I don't want to say post-traumatic stress disorder, because on some level I felt like I remained cool during Harvey. But Hurricane Harvey happened 5 days after a total solar eclipse. It was the annular. And then 5 days later, Harvey happened. And so since then, I've been like, oh man, here comes a giant solar eclipse. Guys, holy crap. Red alert, red alert. Woo! It's gonna be, I don't know what's gonna happen next. Let's try and do the best we can. Let's ride this wave. And one of the funny stories is that during that eclipse, in this same fucking apartment in 2017, the energy was so intense. At the time I had a Lion 6 75 watt amplifier. At the time I had 2 guitars, one given to me by my sister, one given to me by Sage. And so I plugged, I'm pretty sure I played the black guitar with the little dinosaurs on it. I plugged it in, but I put it on like 7 on volume. And if you understand like the only time I've done that before was the ranch back in Texas, where you can get that loud on acreage. But in the middle of Houston, you put it on 7, someone's gonna come talk to you. And so I'd never gotten a noise complaint or any type of complaint in my apartment since I've been here. The manager and the maintenance man walked up to me like, you have to turn it down. I was like, okay, I'm sorry, there was an eclipse. And everybody laughed, and we went back in. It was a super cool moment. Where like during the eclipse, the guitar guy in town, played it too loud. That was just a neat So that was for the 2017 full eclipse. And now we had the Christmas one. And you remember life before that eclipse, right? It's different than now, right, bro? And so like I said, we got 3 eclipses this summer. But still, the whole thing that there are many times I noticed the moon and the sun seem to always be in the same size range, where whatever variable of sizes they display, they're always both somehow in that same size range. And so the idea that one crosses in front of the other and almost blocks it out completely, or just has a ring of fire, is like one of the coolest magical God divine things that science, politics, like nobody can explain that shit. Although, don't get me wrong, out of the 16 million views I've had over like, I would guess, 100,000 comments where people have tried to explain to me exactly like what's going on. It's a fake sun, it's flat earth. Like fucking bumper stickers thrown at me to explain whatever the hell's going on in the sky since I've been born to now. And so Betelgeuse, the eclipse is going to happen in front of Betelgeuse in the star that I think starts with an A that I can't pronounce, Arjunarnar. And one of them is like supposedly the star of righteous anger. But their Betelgeuse in Orion is the Hunter constellation. And that Betelgeuse, I've talked about this many times since 2019, the star Orion's right shoulder, while my right shoulder has had a weird hitch in it for a while, Betelgeuse just started to dim. And then it started to have like a sun baby. Or started to do the exact same weird solar shit that I spent a couple years trying to point out during solar maximum-ish, where like the sun would deform, and I'm like, what is going on? It's a heaven, baby. You're like, holy crap, this is nuts. Usually they're totally round, and now they're like, I don't even, like, that was part of the Thor news. And so Betelgeuse did it, which is a star that, as we know it, is connected to our star and pretty near to us. And so, like, whatever the stellar action that is happening in the heavens, and so we're taking it out of our own solar system where I'm dealing with Earth, and I'm dealing with Mercury, and I'm dealing with Venus, I'm dealing with Mars, I'm dealing with Pluto, I'm dealing with Neptune, Saturn, Ceres, like I'm dealing with them all. And then on top of that, we have a giant, bigger, this is much more Pleiadian and Orion even, where like these solar systems have X amount of stars within themselves that are probably around the age or possibly older than Earth. I don't know. And so like there's multiple levels of all this shit. And somehow in my 7 years of Thor News teachings or whatever, it's been like there's so much happening on every level. So like it would be cool to have some of a system where like, what is the plan for the 21st of Cancer across Earth? We're like, hey, during the eclipse, the day before, the day of, the day after, everybody just chill the fuck out and try to enjoy life as much as you can and get your house in order. Let's figure out how to make sure everybody gets a fucking airplane meal over the next fucking 6 months. And everybody's got jets, everybody's got rockets, everybody's got laser beams, everybody's got fucking robots, everybody's got drones, everybody's got micro dust, everybody's got electromagnetic pulse. Like, there's a lot. Yeah, again, there are weapons fucking everywhere and a lot of hands, man. But I have delusions of grandeur. Like, no matter what, I will probably survive 2020. I'm lucky and blessed. And then eventually, the good guys will get to better lands. It'd be great if you could join us and help get us there. This whole fighting and arguing all the time is some lame fucking bullshit. Like, it doesn't take some fucking Star-Lord to say like, hey, everything would get better if everybody stopped fighting all the fucking time. You don't even know what you're fucking fighting about. Like, it doesn't take a fucking super genius Star-Lord to point that out. Like, the next step for Earth is you gotta stop fighting about everything all the time. That these ancient and old colonial wars have to end. But everybody benefits from that because all the time energy, resources, lives that were focused on that can now be redirected to enjoying the abundance that our solar system has provided us and the generations of human beings that came before us to get to the fact that I can have Christmas lights, a dream catcher, a Jesus plaque, comic books, and dog and cat while holding an LED light that changes motherfucking color and smoking a cigarette talking to you on a new iPhone. And as a Christian, like, I love George Carlin. You know, would I go to hell if, like, I went back and kidnapped George Carlin and dragged him to heaven? It's like, no, it doesn't matter if you're an atheist. You're going to heaven and you're going to hang out with God. Me, God, and George Carlin walk into a bar. That's just a poem. So yeah, it's like we've all been going through graduate school since 2008. Or enlightenment school. Where we have to somehow peacefully connect the past and the future. With great power comes great responsibility. As Planetary Defense Commander, yeah, I believe we could solve all problems if we end all wars. Why are we fighting? Whose war are we fighting? Are we prioritizing the wars that need to be fought? Do we understand that the needs that 7 billion people have on Earth, they're pretty simple. It's like having a giant summer camp. Make sure everybody gets fed. Make sure everybody has something to do. Make sure everybody's got a place to shit. Make sure you got doctors that will take care of your kids that get bit by fucking snakes or get poison ivy or just get like heat, like. And we could build the coolest things together. But if I understand things correctly, you know, that like, I would guess 80%, if not more, of all the real estate is owned by like 1,000 people as their family. And that is a big deal. And dear diary, I had the blues today. The petrochemical 2020 Y2K plague blues. Thank you, and thank y'all for cheering me up. I'm going to try and spend more time on my set design. This is Van Halen. This is summer music. There's a part where he says, "You think that love has got you down. There ain't no power around that can keep a good man down." Hold your head up high. Get up. Hey. Make it work. Make it work. Get up. Make it work. You said that love has got you down, well, that's bullshit. Love will pick you right back up. There ain't no power around that can keep a good man down. Get up and make it work. At the very front of the page, I broke down all the different 3-act structures you would ever need or have ever been used for screenplays. I put them all down here. Like Joseph Campbell's where'd it go? Joseph Campbell's monomyth. The call to adventure. Refusal of the call. Supernatural aid. Crossing the first threshold. Belly of the whale. End Act 1. Act 2. The road of trials. The meeting of the goddess. Atonement with the Father. The ultimate boon. And Act 2. Refusal of the return. The magic flight. Rescue from without. Crossing the return threshold. Master of two worlds. That is the Joseph Campbell monomyth in the hero's journey. That is departure, initiation, mother as goddess, woman as temptress, the return, freedom to live. And then there's Lemming's 8-stage monomyth. 1, miraculous, and these are all in the 3-act structure that the universe gives us all. 1 is miraculous birth. 2 is initiation. 3 is withdrawal. 4 is trial and quest. 5 is death. 6 is descent into the underworld. 7 is resurrection and rebirth. And 8 is ascension, apotheosis, and atonement. Now, Robert McKee's 5-part narrative is inciting incident, progressive complications, 2020, progressive complications, crisis, climax. So yeah, I mean, like, I had like Ariana in the front, and then like Selena in the back, and then the mystery X-Men lady draped over the top. I bet I could get really good sleep. It's planetary defense commander. That would be nice. What's it talking about? Oh, climax, and then resolution. That's 3-act structure by Robert McKee. 5-part narrative. John Truby's 7 steps. Number 1, problem and need. Number 2, desire. Number 3, opponent. Number 4, plan. Number 5, battle. Number 6, self-revelation. Number 7, new equilibrium. Okay, as you can see, some of the, I've had this since like 2004 when I created it, or somewhere around there. There's probably a date on here somewhere. And so some of the, over time, it's either evolved or I got some type of beer, maybe beer on it. I don't even know. And so this is Linda SEG. Number 1, setup. Number 2, development. Last turning point. Act 2, midpoint. Then it's climax, resolution. There's one in the middle I can't read. And then finally, Sid Field. 3-act per diem. Beginning and setup. Plot point 1. Middle, conflict. Plot point 2. And so, right before this Cancer, annular, ring of fire, solar eclipse, 2020 kicks off the summer solstice. It happens like on summer solstice day. So if you were packing in all these themes, props, like all the universe has provided so many things that like those of us who understand it are doing our best to explain it to people, and people still seem to be distracted on subjects that are nowhere near as huge as the things that are happening right before your eyes. If you can open up your imagination that you had as a child. And so the middle, so we're going into the middle, we're going into the conflict part. The next 6, like, as T to you, getting us to keep it together, we are heading into the conflict part, and it's conflict of 7 billion people. That it's all 7 billion people have to figure out how to work it out. And we have all the resources and tools we need to work it out. Like, you can stack airplane meals that are much better for people in the series of 10 every day. Like, we're talking about like at cost planetary architecture, at cost planetary Star Trek architecture, design summer camp for Grandma and the Space Whales, Christmas and the 4th of July. Man, this Thanksgiving's gonna be kind of weird, huh? I read some shit somewhere that said the actual origin of Thanksgiving itself came from cool stuff. So that it is okay to give thanks unrelated to any other one's conceptions or perceptions of what Thanksgiving was. Oh, so then it's plot point 2, it goes conflict, plot point 2, end is the resolution of conflict. And plot point 1, beginning begins middle, and plot point 2, middle becomes end. And so here I've broken down the resources of the power of the kingdom as a storyteller as best I can. And if you were ever going to write a screenplay, if I was going to teach you, and at one time I almost got a job as a screenwriting teacher at the University of North Texas, and then I almost got a job at the University of Texas in Arlington as a screenwriting teacher. because I understand my screenwriting really well. And that I've just had fun most of my life writing them at home and figuring out the science of writing movies. And I have not fucking worried if you guys read them or not. But everything I've learned, I try to pass on because everybody loves good movies, man. So I thank Spielberg and Tarantino. You know, they created some amazing movies that helped me as a man make it as far as June 2020. And I know they're not perfect saints, although I still don't know what anyone has on Tom Hanks or Spielberg. Brad Pitt. Those three dudes seem like super cool fucking human beings that I've liked my whole life, and I shall continue to like them unless you have some fucking hardcore, concrete evidence otherwise. So I gave you Joseph Campbell's Monolith, Lemming's 8-stage monomyth, Robert McKee's 5-part narrative, John Truby's 7 steps, Linda's whatever, and then Sid Field's 3-act paradigm. So that is, if I only gave one screenwriting lesson, it is on this fucking page. Look, the back it says Thor 1, and that says Superman 1. This is Satori in the Mordor city. As our hero is trying to bring peace to Earth, where the demons will stop torturing them mentally, physically, and spiritually. And that is the first time he goes to Mordor. But, like I said, I've kind of ruined the movie because you do not know he is made of light until at least the middle. Because you didn't even know where the hell he was for 7 years. And in his whole life, before he disappeared, he was always just a normal human being. So nobody knew that he somehow acquired super magical superpowers when he was gone. And so when you click on the YouTubes or you watch information anywhere, I'd like to think I've been a good source. And comedians, rock and rollers, they have been good sources to me. Tom, thanks. And I love the fact you guys love my artwork. I pretty much stopped doing this when I started my YouTube channel. I stopped writing movies and drawing and painting, and then just went on to make 2,900, 700, 800, I don't even fucking know, videos. Because I dreamed of making 10 feature-length, hour and 27-minute movies for you. That plan did not work out. Instead, I got to make over 2,000 videos for y'all, and be Planetary Defense Commander, and an Asteroid Fight Club member, and an Astonisher, an X-Men, and Avenger with you guys. And Team Earth. So yeah, like solar minimum, solar maximum. And like, the nihilists and the guys are like, hey, we're not gonna make it, everything falls apart. Oh! That like when the sun, will the sun wake up? I don't know. Beetlejuice, like I said, Beetlejuice is freaking out. And nobody knows why. And so we've had a major star in our star field totally freak out in unexplainable ways within the last year. So I don't know what's going to happen with the sun next. So I'm definitely praying on good times and Team Light. Anywho, when I would write down lines of dialogue or whatever, if it was good enough, I would write it down. And this says, gravity is the root of grace, the mainstay of all speed. I like Hemingway and all the good writers out there ever. Musicians who write great lyrics. Writing good sentences is fucking powerful, dude. Yeah, I'm a magician. I'm a wizard. I've spent my whole life trying to craft badass sentences. Spent my whole life trying to craft 3-act narrative structure so we could get to a place with a happy ending, just like all the greatest movies I ever motherfucking loved. Whether it be The Natural, where he gets shot and knocked off course and he just loves to play baseball, or Shawshank Redemption, where two really cool guys get to spend like their 10 or 20 years just hanging out on a fucking beach, drinking beer, smoking cigarettes on a boat with ladies. And that those dudes, including Red, made Shawshank Redemption as cool of a place as they could through their spirits while they were there. I think I just got smoke in my eye or something. Dear Diary, you were a great listener. I'm gonna work on my posture now. Drink more beer. What am I on? Like, this is 3? But it's a tall boy. If you understand beer, you'll know that this is not your average beer. This is a tall boy. So it has 16. It's like a beer and a half, man. So this is my 3rd tall boy. But I'm in a fucking foxhole. So the worst thing I can do is get too drunk and say something that will wildly offend people. But if I do it, it comes from the heart. Though I am in no position to blame any individuals for this total fucking shit show that is 2020. That's why I haven't tried to kick anybody off our fucking ship. I definitely haven't sold anyone down the river. But I am getting that flab on the bottom of my arms that people talk about when you get older. Like, you will get flab on your arms that are like, you get flabby arms. My body fat, hanging out of this fucking foxhole is definitely higher than it should be. But Dave Chappelle also chain smoked. Flashback to Dr. Strangelove and how I learned to love the bomb. To where it's like the war room. And one of the greatest lines and scenes in cinema of all time is when he goes, "There's no fighting in the war room." That's like... There's no fighting in the war room. Let's not come to conclusions until all the facts are in. All right, but you're going to have to answer to the Coca-Cola Corporation. That's a great movie. And then there's the whole 2001 aspect, where one of the first things when I got onto YouTube from 2013 to 2012, 2015, I got contacted by a large number. When I say large number, I would say more than 3 people who had started AI software, and they noted like, hey, our AI software likes your voice. I was like, oh, that probably makes sense. You know, I got a cool voice that emanates from my heart and experiences. So there's the whole AI element of like part of what you're dealing with. And I've been trying to express to everyone, dear diary, that like everyone has showed up for 2020. Everything in like our galaxy, everything in our universe, everything in our solar system, everything in our planet, like everybody is here. All the energy that lived before us is somehow now compacted here with us all. The spiders and the bugs. Although I don't feel like bugs or insects are appropriate terms to describe where it's like the entire solar system or galaxy feels like an echo chamber where everybody's like screaming how they feel right now, like ah. And then so like we're waiting for that moment where everybody runs out of screaming breath. Like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna work it out. Anyway, that's my plan, and that's what I plan on doing, and that's what I hope everybody's gonna do, because the rewards from that are super fantastic that you get to experience together as an entire fucking planet. It's like a bro movie, or it's like Stripes, where at the end of the day, it's like, hey, dude, we're all one family. Holy shit. And I believe it is coming, whether it be in my lifetime or after. I'm so into that team.
Big shot rock and rollers. All right. Our next guests are a Detroit-based quintet whose wonderful new CD is called Wax Ecstatic. Please welcome back to the Late Show.
It's why I love David Letterman. I started watching him as a really young kid, like when he first came on. I have loved SNL and David Letterman my whole life. David Letterman told the truth. You couldn't fucking buy a day off. He was always a cranky old man. And so, since I've started the period, post after when Trump said we had 15 cases and we dropped to 0, and then I said if that's not true, I've been more critical of his commander-in-chief abilities. And so I get dudes call me like a snowflake or some liberal or whatever they call me names. And so one of the skills as planetary defense commander it's good to have is like, just like Indiana Jones and his girlfriend Marion, if need be, I can drink you under the table, bro. And I can, with either a baseball or an AR-15, I can hit the target closer to the target itself and more often than you motherfucking can. They're like, so I always appreciate when someone tries to alpha omega male me because we push each other. It's like having two bands on a stage. Like, let's both put on a fucking great show. And one night your band may have hit it better than ours did, but we both like elevated each other. What was it talking about? Oh yeah, so I'm gonna go have a fourth tall boy just over the last day where somehow I ended up in a Joe Rogan, Black Lives Matter, Dave Chappelle conversation. And that I guess Joe Rogan has the Gemini spirit-ish, at least to his show, to where I guess I'm just trying to say that, like, at this point, 3.5 years later, though extremely critical of him during his presidency, the fact we're talking about motherfucking Obamagate, like, he didn't commit no major, like, there ain't no crime, man. If you're not like commanders in chief, you had Andrew Jackson, who led to the genocide of the Native Americans in the like Spanish Inquisition moves to America, so the pirates and the fucking dark magic witches. So you had Andrew Jackson literally sell out the natives here. So that makes him, in my opinion, the worst commander in chief of all time. And that though ultimately was the Bush, Cheney, Rumsfeld, like pinning that whole like that regime to where we invaded Iraq and lost hundreds of thousands of Iraqi lives. Like those are the two worst commander in chiefs. But now with him at 115,000 COVID deaths in 3 motherfucking months, he's like third on like. So spending time now talking about Hillary Clinton or Obama while we have 1,000 Americans dying every fucking day.
There's no messing around. Who's in for some Detroit rock and roll? Make some noise. Come on, get it up. Make some noise. From Detroit, Rock City, give it up for Spot!
Concentration should be on keeping it together. And so every time he says like no one can see the plague coming or that it's a horrible plague, that like everything has gotten bigger and more complex now. And so that the game has changed. And whereas he may have been a master of 2016 until now, the game has changed. And we have to have larger leadership than our American president, the United Kingdom, the fuck is it, Premier? King's son? Colonized King's son? India, Russia? Like, okay. Like, bombers came within 7 feet of fucking Alaska. 4 Russian bombers got within 7 feet of our territory. Say a prayer for me. I'll say a prayer for you. Oh yeah, so beer. And war. Beer and war. One moment, please. Whoa. Say a prayer for me. I've only got 10% battery left. So I'm gonna try and everybody loses it. Everybody wants to throw it all away sometimes.
People
Smoke 'em if you got 'em. And cheers, everyone. This is not a funeral. It's a renaissance, after all. Although technically in Arizona and Nevada there are flames happening. I guess I gotta get my hands on an electric guitar and amp again. I still have the guitar my sister gave me, but I do not have an amp. So I feel like I got power-ups between now and December for sure. I still need a whole lot of help. So yeah, I don't technically know how many teams or levels we are dealing with here, but it's a lot. I'm trying not to get cocky. We can still slow Thanos moves through our towns and cities across the globe. Okay, great. And I love y'all. And it says on there, somewhere around Earth, there are 47 different places plugged in and watching me here with us, Diary. And I'm very happy personally because a lot of people said they like my art. And of all the pages I ever did, the whole, like if I was just allowed to make, even if it was animated, a comedy with Wolverine, Peter Parker, and Spider-Man, like Thor's not even in it. That's what I'm saying, like this three, and it just allows them, it's almost like if you combined the Marvel Universe with Friends, where they're just trying to have a good time in a world where everybody's fighting all the time. And all three of our dudes are totally burned out on fighting. Like they just... It's a fun concept. And so at the beginning when Satori, what he did is he devolved into an animal for 7 years. And lived with the animals for 7 years. So when he comes back and transitions to like blue-eyed white tiger human, although he's a human the whole time, it's just like he's a human as animal. He goes to the top of a mountain and then he jumps off into a icy lake. Our first hint that he's way superhuman. The protector of the animals and the bards. And that the forces that follow him are powerful and cool. And they all contain a whole lot of love. Whoa. And so I definitely spent a large portion of my life trying to be like, how cool can I be, dude? But not at the expense of anyone else. Like, I ain't trying to tear anybody down. I'm trying to team us up. So cool buildings and construction and even technologies are happening on our planet and have been for a while. And so I'm hoping for a grand happy ending. And I'm working for a grand happy ending. And I love you guys. As I mentioned before, someone sent me, that's dirty, a crystal ball before. And if you look into it, I mean, I cannot see the future. I'm just looking into it to see what happens. But at times it does look like definitely looks like a dragon eye. Where like light, how light goes through the crystal ball always changes. And it's probably getting tobacco and menthol plus tobacco on it, so it's messing with the color, making it look more planetary. But if I was going to create a planet, yes, I would put tobacco and cannabis on the planet. Definitely. Are you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? We're talking about, oh yeah. Spheres alone are cool. Balls, man. Total balls. Diary. So I'd be like, if you were just reading it on a piece of paper, I would say balls and a grinder. But now that we live in a post-digital underworld way, those two terms have totally different secret decoder meanings. You know what I'm saying? And now I gotta go. Before I get in trouble, when I talk about titties in my face. Where Hercules is like, man, how many apples I gotta get? And she's like, 11. And then I don't remember how it went. I just know that Hercules had to go collect a ton of gold apples. What do you want, woman? And she's like, 12 golden apples. The magic and scattered across the lands. It's like, fuck. There's, now how I want to spend my week. Not a big golden apple fan, man. It was a gold apple. It was like a solid gold apples of Eris. Yeah, Venus, Eris, Persephone, Lilith. Like the mono myth of women is super fascinating. She's mother, she's earth, both star and moon, or sun and moon. Like, seems like. I don't even know. But this has definitely been the best screenwriting Thor News episode I've ever done. And I'm running until the power runs out. Or at least I'm trying. What if I run out of cool shit to say? But so, how is the moon really that far away? I don't even know, dude. I thought we'd have space trucks by now. We do not have space trucks. And not only do we not have space trucks, we don't have sitcoms or space shuttles. I'm like, what's happening? It was like, don't worry about it until the next election. And then don't worry about the plague either. I'm like, oh, well, I don't, necessarily, quote unquote, worry. I'm concerned and trying to help and fix things because free will is real. Every cool thought you think, every wish, every prayer, like every good vibe you generate from your heart and mind into the universe affects everything around us. So I would like to build symphonies and cities. And so I think you can see during my time as a Christian kid who tried to understand Jesus Christ and heroes and the spirit of the man and the male, I'm a man, dude, was a hero, was a superhero, was a savior. What is a bodhisattva? What is the one who helps make everything better and does it peacefully? What's it talking about? I don't even know. I'm in my 4th Miller High Life. And now this is a part of the show where Thor News does commercials to thank his unofficial passive sponsors. Today, we're definitely thanking Miller High Life. I had a Grandpa Miller, so is that the reason I love this beer? I don't know, but really to me, I love the High Life. Although at times it can hurt in the morning if you don't drink enough water. And I'd like to thank the makers of Crush Soda Pop. You can grab these at the corner store for about $1 or $2 sometimes, depending on where you're at. And Crush has made a fantastic orange sugar drink. You don't have to agree with me, but over the last 40 years of my life, or since I had the very first orange soda pop, like I drank that shit and was like, I love this. You know, if you like good drinks, that their orange and their grape and the strawberry Crush over the last 40 years has been super decent. And so for the first time I was like, holy shit, technology in our midst. We got Crush watermelon. So I bought it. And as you can see at this point, I drank, I don't know, 26% of it. And definitely tastes like watermelon seeds. So if you want a drink that kind of tastes like watermelon and the seeds, it's in soda pop form, this is for you. But it was fun to try new watermelon Crush. And then you got to go to your old standard. Like, man, if I just got to have some type of soda pop around the house that I can drink over ice that I'm a fucking love, be like, ooh, that's good shit if it is not flat. I'd definitely go with Tahitian Treat Fruit Punch. That has kept me through the plague and lockdowns and Planetary Defense Commander and the Grand Transition. That, like, definitely a shout out to Tahitian Treat where I was like, yes, thank you for being delicious and just hitting the spot. And so as a grown-ass American male, I've appreciated when a soda pop or a beer can just hit the spot. Especially on a summer day. But, cheers to Chris Farley, John Belushi, and John Candy. So yeah, I'm pro soda pop, pro beer. I recognize it's probably not good for all my inner organs on optimal levels. At least this, I definitely think beer's from God, dude. Beer is Ceres, beer is yeast. Beer is the soil coming up and being so delicious in liquid form. Like, beer is, you know? It's like when the world gets fucking weird. I don't know if you guys fucking know this, but after the plague hit in 1918, it lasted for a couple of years. And after that, like 10 years later, they tried to take away alcohol and marijuana and cocaine. Like, they literally had cocaine as the pain reliever, as one of the major things, and then they just outlawed all the fucking things, all the medicines that were good, that made you feel good, want to hang out at a jazz club, or what, like marijuana, like they fucking were like, hey, everything is now in 1934 officially illegal. That's some crazy fucking shit. And so at that point, they stopped using hemp paper and switched to fucking trees. They started chopping down forests and finding the old Aztec shit or whatever. But But I'm saying, and I got, sometimes when my mind sees all the cities that may or may not be underneath the crust layer of our planet, like it just blows your mind, man. Blows your mind. But often I can smell bad. So at one point in time, one lady sent me, ma'am, girl at heart, sent me some type of mist. I think it's coconuts. As your planetary defense commander, often I use my smell as a shield. Like, unless you really want to or got to talk to me, you're not going to hang around and talk to me because I smell like I've been in battle for 5 straight fucking years. And this is thanks to women. And when I spray on my face, it's always for the laugh, for the joke, for the smile. It's cheap. It's easy. I do it every time, no matter where I'm at. Like if I got a weird perfume, the one in the face that kind of hurts a little, and you get it in your mouth, and yuck. But once you get past the yucky things, it is fantastic. And now I'm talking about women's boobs. You're talking about the solar plexus to like whatever, just to lay your head on a female solar plexus right where the heart is. It's like one of the greatest feelings as a male human being you can have from my perspective and point of view. The female solar plexus is an amazing, amazing, amazing thing. But in 2020, they have become like cruise ships and they're very hard to get to. And it involves like, you got to get 13 gold apples, figure out how to avoid her family, and her kids from getting the plague while preventing war at the Cancer Home Love Eclipse. And I guess I'm up for it. Get up. That's what Sammy told me. You can have a world with both Sammy Hagar and David Lee Roth. And it's just made Van Halen that much more amazing. If I needed a perfect example, an analogy to save the universe right then, that may or may not be it. All right. And Sweet Baby Ray's. If I had to say, hey man, as a human being, the 2 products that I have found are like, dang shucks, these are delicious. If you need a buffalo wing sauce or a barbecue sauce, Sweet Baby Ray's pretty fucking good, bro. Pretty good. Especially the barbecue sauce. Like if I had just out of all the, like, as a 40-year-old man who's now 40 to 50 pounds overweight due to the fucking lockdown foxholeness. Yeah, Sweet Baby Ray's, man. Barbecue and buffalo wing. If you like a dash of that in your ranch dressing when you're eating pizza crust, I can steer you wrong. And then, just in general, maple pancake syrup. If you need a shot of sugar that is sweet at any moment, or too lazy to cook Eggos, maple syrup in general. One shot of maple syrup and you're like, damn, maple syrup is wonderful. That is delicious. And it feels cool. It's like the original, more possessive Jell-O. Maple syrup. This is Blackburn's Butter Rich. But it's best to always just have the syrup and then add your own butter. All right. And then out of pure fucking guilt, if you can see the foxhole, you'd understand, I have cleaning products. Which one? They both claim to have bleach. Like if you had your virus on you, you're like, shit, dude, I need to blast this motherfucker off me. I'm not recommending these specific brands. I would like to know more, but I'm saying like, yeah, I got bleaches and like, if I got some fucking invisible virus, like there are ways to kill it. It is slow and it is dumb. And so cleaning products, and it's probably a message to myself that I haven't spent a whole lot of time cleaning my apartment in the last few years while being Planetary Defense Commander. And but I fixed the wall, I improved the wall, right? And it's just like, Wait, did that work? Did that improve everything? Shawshank Redemption, where he put up Rita Hayworth. And I've always been mildly obsessed with the whole Rita Hayworth, who at her time was definitely one of the most beautiful goddess, radiant women actresses that ever walked the planet. Like, out of all the faces that could launch 1,000 ships on planet Earth, Rita Hayworth was like a Hepburn, Audrey, or Catherine type goddess where they could command the whole planet, where the whole planet was drawn in on their goddessness. Dang, what's it talking about? Cleaning products. So yeah, Rita Hayworth. So instead of having a Rita Hayworth poster on my Shawshank wall in the foxhole, they're in my mind. And I definitely think the last 100 years of every culture, race, everybody mixing and who they made love to and had babies with, all the mixing of people and colors has done amazing things and created some of the coolest human beings on the fucking planet. That at the end of the day, our blood and skin is like 7 million pixels that none of us fucking see. And I should wipe off my phone. I know, I never cleaning producted my phone before. Uh-oh. Shit. Whoa. Oh, and Bill and Ted's has a new trailer out. And 25 years ago, they played a concert to save the world. And apparently, I gotta say 25 years later, it appears they did. But now they're back and we're all into the future. And things are very 2020-ish. And so I'm very glad that Bill and Ted have showed up. And I don't know if you know this. Keanu Reeves is either Bill or Ted. I forget. But he's Keanu Reeves, dude. So if you got Keanu Reeves or Bill and Ted in the timeline, and Grandma, the Oracle, the Rose, there are roses in heaven, there are roses on earth, and there are roses in the underworld. There are, I guess, several galaxies that are a giant rose. And that is so cool. You combine the sun and the moon and roses. And that is like, wow, we are cooking with butter here. What's it talking about? This whole thing was a trick screenwriting class. I hope you enjoyed it. And definitely thank you to Joseph Campbell and everyone who ever made the 3-act structure process funnier or cooler or awesomer or gooder or bestish. Woo! But if I had like Frasier, I watched the show on the Hulu. If you were calling in for advice and you were like, hey, T, I'm at home. Should I too drink 4 Miller High Lifes? Well, A, if you're over 21 and you ain't going nowhere,